Before we start, remember one thing. Some stories are just stories, but some are real. The man standing in the snow. It happened during the winter of 2019 in a small town somewhere in the northern part of the United States. I'm not going to mention the exact town name, mostly because what happened that night still makes me uneasy. Back then, I was 27 years old and working the night shift as a security guard for a small warehouse on the outskirts of town. The job itself wasn't difficult. Most nights were quiet, too quiet, actually. The warehouse stood near a stretch of forest and an old highway that very few people used anymore. During the day, trucks would come and go, loading and unloading supplies. But at night, it was just me, the building, and the endless darkness outside. Winter in that area was brutal. Snowstorms could bury the roads overnight, and the temperature often dropped far below freezing. That particular night, a heavy snowstorm had started around 9 p.m. By midnight, the entire place looked like it had been swallowed by white silence. I was sitting inside the security office, watching the monitors. There were 8 cameras around the property, covering the parking lot, the loading docks, and the back fence line. Nothing unusual ever happened, at least not until that night. Around 1:15 a.m., I noticed something strange on camera 4. At first, I thought it was just a shadow moving in the snow. The camera pointed toward the back gate, which led to the old forest road. I leaned closer to the screen. There was someone standing there, just standing, in the middle of the snow. I frowned. No car, no footsteps leading up to the gate that I could see from the camera angle. Just a man-shaped figure standing perfectly still about 30 feet away from the fence. I grabbed the radio and stepped outside the office door to get a better look through the front window. The snowstorm had gotten worse. Thick flakes drifted sideways in the wind, but I could still see him. A tall figure standing beyond the fence, not moving, not even a little. At first, I assumed it was someone who had gotten lost on the highway. Maybe their car had broken down, but something about the way he stood there felt wrong. He wasn't waving. He wasn't knocking on the gate. He was just staring straight at the building. And even from that distance, I had the unsettling feeling that he was staring directly at me. I grabbed my flashlight and walked toward the door. Halfway there, I stopped. Something suddenly occurred to me. There were no footprints. The snow had been falling for hours, but the ground outside the fence looked smooth and untouched, except for the spot where the man was standing. The snow around his feet was perfectly clear, as if it had never fallen there. That made absolutely no sense. I hesitated, then returned to the monitors. Camera 4 still showed the man, standing, watching. 10 minutes passed. He never moved. Finally, I decided to call the local police station. I explained that there was a man standing outside the fence during a snowstorm and that he hadn't moved for at least 15 minutes. The dispatcher said they would send someone to check it out. Relieved, I sat back in the chair and kept watching the screen. Another 5 minutes passed. Then something happened that made my stomach drop. The man moved. Not a step, not a shift. He simply tilted his head to one side, slowly, like he was curious, like he was studying me, even though there was no way he could see me through the storm and the cameras. My heart started beating faster. Then the power flickered. Once, twice. The monitors went black for 2 seconds. When they came back on, the man was gone, just gone. The snow outside the fence looked empty again. I immediately switched through all 8 cameras. Nothing. No movement. No footprints. No person walking away, just the storm. I remember sitting there frozen in my chair, staring at the screens, trying to convince myself that maybe I had imagined the whole thing. But then the phone rang. It was the police officer. He said they had just arrived at the entrance road, and that's when he asked something that made my blood run cold. "Hey, did you say the guy was standing outside the fence?" I swallowed. "Yes." There was a pause. Then the officer said quietly, "Because there's someone standing inside the property right now." For a moment, I couldn't speak. I quickly looked at the cameras again. Camera 2, the loading dock. There he was, standing only 20 feet from the building, covered in snow, head tilted, looking directly at the security office window, exactly where I was sitting. The officer on the phone said they were walking up the road and couldn't see anyone near the fence anymore. But I could see him, right there, watching me. And that's when he did something I will never forget. He smiled. A wide, unnatural smile that stretched across his face. Then the monitors went black again. This time, they didn't